Coach Morgan asked me to say a couple things. Man, what a good season it was for the Northwest football team. Another great building block season. I know Coach Morgan is proud of these student athletes and his coaching staff. I just want to share some thoughts of something I noticed about Coach. It was actually last year here at Parkwood. We hosted the event to celebrate a season that was somewhat unexpected. I mean, in the community. I think people were expecting a good season, but they weren't expecting a conference championship. And that was a big deal. And I saw Coach here, and I saw his wife, who's unable to be here today, and his kids running around. And I thought, man, we've got a lot more in common than he realizes. Like, as a pastor, my family has nights like tonight where I don't get to be at home with them, having to do different things in our community, serve our church people. And sometimes it's hard on me, but it's really hard on my wife. It's really hard on my kids. But I try and love them as best as I can. And I saw that in Coach Mormon a year ago. And I was thinking, man, there's some other things. Like, I'm in student ministry, so I deal with students all the time. And I mean, coaching football is coaching students. And you're investing in the lives of young people. And you get to walk with them through their worst of times. But then you get moments where you get to celebrate the best of times. And that's what tonight is. We're celebrating the good times. Coach Mormon said, Pastor James, you can't be negative this year. Stop making fun of me. All right? And he said I couldn't talk about what was clearly a safety. Come on, y'all know. He knows. We all saw it, except for one of us. Man. Yeah, man. Six of them somehow didn't see it. Mama said if you ain't got anything nice to say, don't say it at all. But we can still celebrate because we're coming back next year, and it's going to be a good year next year. But it's going to be because of the work that these guys put in this year, the building blocks that were laid, the fundamentals that were learned. And I have no doubt with this guy and this coaching staff who's been around here, like these are some quality guys who are taking time away from their family, who care about these kids, and I know that. And I know there's great things coming for Northwest, but I'm excited to celebrate what's happening now. So that's what we're going to do today. Without further ado, Coach Mormon.
Well, I wish I was as good of a speaker as Mr. Mooney in public speaking, but we really appreciate everybody coming out tonight to celebrate our 2023 football season. And I have to start off with just I can tell you as a staff, I think our entire staff would say how thankful we are to be able to coach the group of young men that we get to coach, here at Northwest Cabarrus High School. I preach to them all the time, and the biggest thing that we might talk about is going over is we use an acronym. It's called EAGLE. All right, and they hear this over and over again because that's why we're successful, because of the effort, the attitude, and the toughness that they play with within our program. And when we talk about effort, it talks about, hey, how do we be successful on the football field? All right, and really, it starts with, hey, our off-the-field success, the effort that we put in the community, in the classroom, it typically leads over to success on the football field. And then when it comes to attitude, in football, you got to play with a temperament. A lot of times we talk about flipping your switch. All right, guys that go to class, do the right things, but hey, once you get on the football field, in terms of what all our defense coaches constantly talk about, having that dog mentality. And so I'm very thankful, for this group of young men, that we get to coach. And then from a toughness standpoint, football ain't easy. These guys come out in the summer. They're pretty much start right now in January in the off season, and this is a tough time of the year. We push them each and every day, and I would just say this: we got a group that has great effort. They show great effort, on great attitudes. They're always positive about one another. And then from a toughness standpoint, it's going to pay off in life. Just the lessons, that I've learned through football, but also these young men as well. And so I'm very thankful, for just having the opportunity to coach young men. And they've been great this year. They came out. They make our jobs easier because they come out. They're prepared. They're ready to go. And so, that's where the success happens, from the group of young men that we get to coach, and just the structure in terms of how they come in and how coachable they are. And so we're definitely very thankful for that. You parents, I have to tell you thank you for, all the remind messages that you deal with in terms of getting them to practice each and every day, for your support, here for our program. And, I would say, there's, for a successful football program, it takes a ton of support. All right, and at first it starts with your dad and the athletic director. But in terms of the parents, our team moms, they jump in, they help out wherever's needed. And I promise you, it takes so much of all of us as coaches, and it's much appreciated. Led by Miss Cassandra Parker, we appreciate all that she's done. Ton of families, ton of group of moms that jump in each and every Friday to make sure that we're prepared. And then I also want to make sure, I thank Mr. Myers, our administrator. Mr. Myers was a teacher. He was a coach. All right, obviously he was a teacher, but he's a coach, and he understands the demands of football, and he always makes sure, that we have what we need. From a Booster Club standpoint, I always have to make sure I tell them thank you. They take a lot off of us that we don't have to pay for in terms of our huddle program. Everything that we do through huddle was covered by the boosters, so that's definitely much appreciated. And then from the athletic director standpoint, anything we need for football, they typically take care of it. And then, our camera crew, led by, I know that group very well because I'm constantly calling them. They're calling me, or they're trying to figure out, hey, Coach Warren, what are your iPad passwords? It's very simple. Football 2023 is typically what I tell them. But the camera crew, starting with Mr. Irwin, Mr. Johnson, Eric Grubbs. I want to make sure and then also Mike Walker for filming each and every game. All of that stuff that they do, it helps us be successful on the field, helps us as coaches, and it's definitely much appreciated. There's so many other parts. Hopefully, I didn't leave anyone off, but I want you all to know that hey, we really appreciate all that you do for our program here at Northwest Cabarrus. Now, I'm about to forget a group of people that I can't. I got to make sure that I take care of them. They take care of me. I'm very thankful for the coaches. Here they've always done a great job, and they've always been very supportive. Sometimes they tell me when I'm right, sometimes they tell me when I'm wrong, and that's what it's supposed to do, and that's why I appreciate it. So thank you all, definitely much appreciated. In terms of their families, I'm sure, I tell them, y'all sleep. I don't know if these coaches sleep because, we're constantly messaging each other, late at night, early in the mornings. But to the families, all the time that they put in, helping me paint the fields, helping me paint the practice field and game fields on certain nights, and coming in on Sundays, whenever we could be home on watching NFL football, but those guys were here, making sure that our program was going to be successful. So to the families, to the wives, thank you for allowing them to come in and support me and support this program. Thank you. Well, let's celebrate a ton of our guys, and the biggest thing that I tell all of our guys is understand this. Yes, we're going to award some people tonight, members of our junior varsity team, members of our varsity team, but understand it took a team for the total success in these awards that we're going to be giving out. And so it's a team-oriented sport. Okay, the team comes first. And so these individuals that are going to be celebrated, understand that it took a team, a group of guys to buy in together, right, and support one another, for these guys to have the success that they have. And so before I move on, my wife is not with me. She's sick right now, and she's got Kyler at the house, so I'm praying for her. college a lot. But I will say this, I want to make sure that, I have Miss Cassandra Parker come up and just kind of go over some of our, supporters and make sure that they get their recognition. So thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. So I messed up a little bit. I had a list prepared with the names of the sponsors, what they donated, and I left it. And I have my son bring my computer. It's not on there either. So I'm gonna do it like this. If you donated a meal, can you please stand? Please stand, y'all, because this is a lot of work that we have done throughout the season. If you donated snacks or drinks, can you please stand? It was pretty much those same people again. We had people donate for the senior gifts. Beverly, Judy, Stephanie, Cindy, Leary, all my girls. I appreciate everyone that has contributed anything for the meals, the snacks, the bus rides, any and everything. Pastor, we actually want to donate something to you for all your support over the season. So Pastor was like my right hand in putting all this together. They donate their church to us to have such a nice event to celebrate our boys like this. So if we could just give him a round of applause. Anybody that contributed to putting this together and setting up, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. The team thanks you. And we just want to give our boys another round of applause for such a great season.
All right, so now we move on to our junior varsity awards. But before I get there, I'm going to ask that every junior varsity football player kind of stand that way. They can all be recognized, the ones that are here tonight. Yeah, so, great group of young men. I've already told you how much they come in, they want to be, they're prepared, they're ready to go. It was a lot of learning, but they were willing to go through all the hard work, to reap the success that they did this past season. They learned from failure. And so in football, we talk about, hey, we never lose, we learn. All right, so we learn from our mistakes, all right, and just watching those guys persevere throughout the season, and continue to get better each and every week, was something that, is definitely much appreciated, definitely was recognized by our coaching staff. And so you guys, as you continue the program, continue each and every day, just taking it one day at a time, one rep at a time, and I promise you it'll pay off in the long run. So thank you all for playing football, and we want you to continue to stay in the football program, but thank you for all that you did this past season. Tonight will be lineman of the year on the junior varsity level.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Coach Stoner, if you don't know me. Coach offensive line here. I've been blessed to give out 3 awards tonight. And before I do that, I just want to make a statement about how important it is for the offensive line to work as a unit, right? 5 fingers working as one fist is the analogy I always like to give. And it's hard to pick and choose because every job from center to both guard spots and both tackle spots are so important. And the Lineman of the Year award for JV this year, this is a kid who's kind of not just broken out of the shell this year, but kind of burst out of it. And you could tell how much fun he had playing this year. At times, didn't want to come off the field, played both ways on JV, and that is Gavin Lewis. Gavin also earned the nickname of Big Nasty this year.
Ironman Award. So our Ironman this year, the best way to describe him, and he's not going to be here tonight because he has a basketball game, but it's a young man that he brought basketball skill talent to the football field. Okay? You know, offensively, he's going to make you miss. He's going to catch the ball with his in the air. Defensively, he's going to do the exact same thing. And, you know, I'm very thankful for this young man. It's great that we have him for another 3 years. But we just ask him to continue to develop, continue developing, continue to do the things that you did this past season. I promise you to pay off as you continue here at Northwest Cabarrus. And so our Ironman Award for junior varsity football, and just so you know, Ironman means you're playing offense and you're also playing defense, and he excelled at both. And so it was Jair Gonzalez. All right, presenting the award for the linebacker.
Defensive Player of the Year for JV. I don't think that he's here. Pretty sure he's one of the basketball guys as well. But just a few words on him. And I saw his growth and maturation throughout the season. He's one of those that you gotta kind of keep on the leash play. He's a learner. He's a worker. And as the guys know, I gravitate towards guys that want to work. So this year's Defensive Player of the Year for junior varsity football goes to Casey Barron.
My name is Coach Washington, Damian Washington. I have the pleasure of giving the Offensive Player of the Year award for the JV team. This guy was our workhorse. He worked extremely hard. He's a returning sophomore this past year, so he was also one of our leaders. And coming into the year, I was worried what we were going to do on offense, if I'm being honest. We had a lot of young people. Like I said, we were thinking, we don't know what we're going to get when we get to the first game. And he showed sparks early, and then it just continued to get better and better every week. And like I said, he became our workhorse. We gave him the ball over and over and over again. And we thank him for this sacrifice, but also put the team on his back. Especially in crunch time, we needed to do whatever we needed to do, whether it was get 3rd and 1 or whatever it was. He made the plays, made the spark that we needed. And so our Offensive Player of the Year for JV, none other than Kayshawn Simmons.
Before we move into our varsity awards, I'm going to ask each and every member of the varsity football team to do stand. Thank you. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to go back behind and correct, not necessarily correct, but just say, hey, you know, our varsity team, we kind of affected the junior varsity team a little bit, you know, this past season. We were going into the year and it was like, okay, we're going to be able to play a bunch of guys that might be a little bit older, down on the junior varsity level. And then injuries occur, like football, a little bit of adversity. Guys like to hear from me. A little bit of adversity happened. And so, you know, we had a ton of young men, you know, that, you know, I can tell you right now, we can't award all of them here tonight, but they had to step up for us in some major games. And I can't leave out of here without, you know, saying their names. Willie Sturgis coming up from junior varsity, playing guard in a big game for us against West Rowan. You know, definitely much appreciated, definitely stood out. You did a great job. Daniel Hutton, another young man that was, you know, really having a great season on the junior varsity level. We had to bring him up pretty quick. And, you know, just another, he ended up starting for us pretty much the rest of the year. Gavin Lewis, Justin Nickerson. It's so many guys that played a role that we thought we were going to be able to keep down on our junior varsity level, but they ended up having to come up and have a ton of success on the varsity level. And so, guys, you know, even, you know, some of you might get awards, some of you might not, but know that, hey, it's definitely appreciated for all the work that you put in. And then for the rest of our main members, you know, just thank you again for coming in and allowing us to, you know, coach you. You guys being coachable is definitely much appreciated. Thank you. The first award we're going to give out is the Coaches Award.
I just want to point out that all those names that Coach Mormon just said were all offensive linemen, so we're excited about those guys coming back. So the Coaches Award, I already talked about the offensive line having to be a unit in order for the offense to go. We ran the ball great this year. We threw for a bunch of yards. For most of the season, we had a pretty explosive offense. And this guy, you know, he's been in the program for a long time, did everything right, did everything we asked him to. Even ended up moving to a position this year where he probably didn't necessarily want to play, but he was a constant at it. And the Coaches Award this year is going to go to Blake Harvey.
Most Improved Award. We're actually going to give out one for defense and also one for offense. And so, start off with defense first. Goes to a young man that when you watch him play, you know he loves the game of football. As a coach, I love the way he attacks the weight room and the temperament he plays with. Making the all-conference team as a sophomore is a great honor. And as a staff, we're extremely excited about having him back for another 2 years. What he doesn't know is he constantly leads, you know, in our second block class, for which I actually carried over some of the things, the attitude of the encouragement that he does for his teammates, the work ethic and the motor that he plays with and has in the weight room class. I actually broke that up in our 4-block football class. And so this year, I understand, man, hey, you're leading, keep it going. Keep it going. This year's Most Improved Defense award goes to Malachi Norris. Most improved offensive player. Our most improved offensive player award goes to a young man that played defensive tackle for his first 3 years. He dedicated himself to playing offensive line his senior year. The constant message from the coaches during our Sunday meetings was always positive about his progress that he was making each and every week. I know personally how much time he put into his development as he spent his off-season working out with me after school and preparing his offensive skill set. He also became a great leader and dependable teammate on the offensive side of the ball. This year's offensive most improved player goes to Brian Spale. Next award being given out is Offensive Lineman of the Year.
All right, so offensive lineman of the year. Again, hard to single these guys out because they all work so dang hard. But you know, this is a kid that when I showed up here at Northwest last year, you couldn't miss him. But he's probably the quietest kid I've ever met at the time, and we're so proud of the growth that he's made from his sophomore year to his junior year, and we're really excited about having him back next year and to continue to grow. And this Offensive Lineman of the Year award is going to go to Nolan Irwin.
Offensive Back of the Year. This award is an award that can go to a running back, anyone that played our H-back tight end position, or it could be a quarterback. Our Offensive Back of the Year is a young man, which I would tell you is a guy that was very, I want to make sure I say it the right way, just a young man that's just an all-around running back. I can tell you as a staff, we definitely trust him because we were a team to where, depending on the game, we would either run the ball a lot or we were going to throw it a lot. And what I like most about this young man is that he understood scheme. What do I mean by scheme? The trust that I had in him is I knew that he was going to protect our quarterback if we called a pass play. All right, and if it was a run, we knew that he was going to run with a violent temperament. And that's what we call a guy that can go in, he can play on any down. And so we definitely appreciate, all that he's done for our program because this young man is a senior. And what we do, man, we wish him the best in his future endeavors. But this year's Offensive Back of the Year award goes to Ray J. Waters.
Hello again. So I'm presenting the Receiver of the Year award. We have a group great group of guys. They're all coming back, so that's great kudos, great for me because I don't have to teach everybody a whole new group again. But it's great. There's something to build off of and continue to go to the next level, going to the next season. And I'm excited about what we're going to do going forward. But this guy, if you came to all the games, he stood out amongst everybody in terms of just the plays that he made, plays that I probably wouldn't have made when I played. The guy just has this it factor. He goes out and he makes plays regardless of the guy's bigger than he is, the guy's small or whatever. He makes the plays that you wouldn't expect a lot of guys to play. And looking at him, he isn't the 6'4". He doesn't run a 4.44 or anything like that. But he just comes and works, and he has this savvy about him that, like I said, it shows every time we get on the field, and he plays the best that we need him to do. When we need to play, he's gonna make it. And so our receiver here is none other than Porter Brown.
Defensive skill player of the year. Our defensive skill player goes to a young man that what I like most about him is he comes in each and every day and he works extremely hard. And on the football field, this young man can play. He can play corner. He can play weak safety. He can play strong safety. He can play free safety. Very versatile. All right. The thing that makes him a defensive back is that he's going to run the alley, he's going to tackle, and he's going to do exactly what you coach him to do. I'm glad we have this young man coming back, next year, and we look for him, wherever coach needs you defensively, just continue to play your role, and I promise you to pay off. Our defensive skill player of the year goes to Dylan Gregory.
Defensive lineman of the year. So we got two guys that are going to be recognized for this. My bad, coach. But before I even do that, I gotta thank the LBs, the linebackers, for the year that we depended on y'all a lot. I put a lot on you, and you responded every time. I appreciate the leadership. I was linebacker room, y'all exceeded everything I thought that I could have gotten out of you. So I want to say that real quick. All right. Defensive lineman of the year is two guys. The first guy, I'm gonna make it real quick, man. The first guy, this guy is a leader. He's an extension of the coach on the field. Anytime I had to talk to him maybe once about getting his guy to the next period. Getting his group to the next period, and ever since then, I told him break it down at the 10. He was just never late. All I had to do is look at him. He's looking at me. He's ready to go. And we want to recognize you for that today. So, Darian Mentor. Second guy. Both of these guys are dogs. But this guy did his work in a much different way. When I first got on with the program, I had a talk with him. I found out that he was from the same area as me. His family's from the same area as me. And from that day on, I picked on you. I appreciate you because this is a tough sport. It demands a lot out of us. And there's some things that I've said to him that I surely can't say here because I appreciate him for just being for accepting the coaching. A lot of times I lay into you, but it was really for the group to see it. And you never downed your head, you never wavered. He's a tough kid, and I appreciate him for that because that energy is infectious as well. You know what I'm saying? So, good players, they can take good coaching. You feel me? Eddie Carno.
Iron Man of the Year for the varsity level was a young man that, he made a ton of plays defensively, and I would tell you, he just stood out because, every time I go back in about our games, I'm always thinking about how many turnovers were created. And this young man was definitely on top of that in terms of always making a play for us defensively. Somehow, you have some players where the ball just finds them. And, hey, that's a blessing. Keep that going as you can continue playing this game, man. And then offensively, he came over and played a position which is really going to be a position where he's going to do more blocking than he would catching the football. All right. But what I like most about this young man was it was something that he wanted to do, something that he chose to do. He came to me and said, "Hey, coach, I can do it." All right. And this means, hey, he plays a safety role, but now he's going to get down in the trenches. He's going to block defensive ends. All right. We knew we could spread him out. He can do special things in the passing game. And he did. I mean, he caught a ton of screens for us from our tight end position. And so he's an athlete. All right. And what's so familiar is this young man is going to continue his career. And whenever they put his position on Twitter, it said out. I said, that's exactly what he is. He can play offense, he can play defense, and so this year's Iron Man Award goes to James Miller. He's also a coach. He coaches first block every morning with me now, since he doesn't have class. And I definitely Special Teams Player of the Year. I could give this award away just by saying the word technician. Typically, all of our kids know this young man's gonna, if we're in the weight room, he's gonna demonstrate for me because he does everything. He's so coachable. Okay. But when I think of Special Teams Player of the Year, this young man had so many punt returns this past year for touchdowns. That was a group effort because I enjoyed going back watching the huddle highlights and seeing how when our guys make plays, looking at the guys that are out front blocking for them. And so, very thankful for that and be able to coach a group of young men that will do that. But going into that Special Teams Player of the Year, this young man wanted to play offense. Okay, he would come by me every single day. Hey, coach, let me catch one of those screens. Hey, coach, let me catch one of those screens. And then what I always tell him was, nah, you gonna score on defense. You gonna score on punt returns. And I promise you, every time he scored, he made sure I knew. And so, it's another senior. He's been with me for a long time. And so we're definitely gonna miss you, man. But Special Teams Player of the Year goes to Jason Gonzalez.
Defensive Player of the Year. This young man was always on time. He was always locked in. Practiced as if it was a game. Every period he practiced and flew around as hard as he could. He was the heart of our defense, like a few other guys. Some of his accomplishments. He had 147 tackles, 12.3 per game, 40 tackles for loss, 18 sacks, which was second in the state, 7 forced fumbles, 2 recovered. He was 2-time first team all-conference, conference player of the year, and second team all-state. Jackson Ford. So I also have the Offensive Player of the Year for varsity. This guy was the heart and soul of our offense. Essentially, like Coach Moore was talking about earlier, we have a whole bunch of guys that are helpful to us, but this guy was like another coach. We could make an error on practice script, he'd check it and get us to where we need to be in. Like I said, he was another coach for us. Has been with us for 4 years. This is my first year with us, but Coach Mormon brought him in. He came in with Coach Mormon and has been balling for us. Grateful for him, wish him great in all his endeavors going forward, college, whatever else he chooses to do. But like I said, this guy was our heart and soul. He got us to where we were, to the wins that we did have, all 10 of them. So thank you to Mr. Alex Walker.
Trojan Award. For this award, this one means a lot to me because typically it's a young man that was a leader. It's a young man that, hey, every day he came to class or games or wherever he was going offensively or defensively, this young man was going to do it in a way to where I would always use him as an example for some of our other athletes. And so I'll read out just kind of what the Trojan Award means. It's given to the hardest worker, most dedicated, most passionate, most excited about playing Trojan football that you can think of. This guy gives everything all the time, both in practice, in the classroom, and in games. He is studying the scout report at lunch, offensively and defensively. He doesn't accept second best from his teammates. He doesn't badmouth the program, but is a great representative of all that we are. Now, up to the guys, a lot of times we talk about the trust tree. All right? And what we tell them is coaches must trust coaches. Coaches must trust the player. The player must trust the coach. And the players must trust each other. And this young man definitely was an example of that trust tree. And I'll give you an example. We're in a football game, and he's running the football. And really and truly, most guys, if I yell out, go out of bounds. This is late in the game. We're winning. Most players, they don't keep going. It's a touchdown for their highlights. This young man steps on the ground. It wasn't about the highlight. It was about just doing pretty much what we asked him to do. And I was very thankful for that, because what he doesn't know is if he would have kept running, they were going to throw a flag. Because we discussed it at halftime. But it stood out to me. And so, continue to do that as you move on to your future endeavors. and I promise you, it'll continue to pay off. This year's Trojan Award goes to Donovan Thompson. As we move into our all-conference awards, once I call your name, please come up to the front. And these guys were recognized by our conference, all the head coaches in our conference, and were awarded all-conference as well. And so first name would be Jackson Force. Andy Conover. Porter Brenham. Alex Walker. Nolan Irwin. Ray J. Waters. Ladarian Mentor. And then Malachi Norris. You're in our conference. These young men were the members of Northwest Cabarrus on the SBC All-Conference team for the 2023-2024 season. Give them a round of applause. From an all-state standpoint, Coach Santana already covered it for us, but all-state recognition, and we will receive a certificate typically from high school OT once they get them out. But Jackson Force was an all-state linebacker. And then typically we recognize, and he's already collected his plaque, but you know, we had a young man that I've nominated so many guys, you know, for my coaching career for the Charlotte, say it for me, Alex, because I'm going to say it all wrong. The award you won down in Charlotte. Yes, but what was it? Yes, the Charlotte, yeah, from the Charlotte Touchdown Club, Alex was awarded the Student Athlete of the Year for the Vernadsky Awards. And we definitely want to, you know, congratulate him as well, because that was based off of the academics in the classroom, but also what you've done on the field. So congratulations, Alex. Thank you all. Y'all may be seated. Sorry, Jackson Forest, come back for a second. Also from the South Piedmont 3A Conference, Jackson Forest was awarded the Defensive Player of the Year. Seniors, when we call your name, please come to the front. Ray J. Waters. James Milligan. Blake Marby. Jason Gonzalez. Jordan Stockton. Donovan Thompson. Alex Walker. Brian Espejo. And we are missing one. He had a big basketball game tonight. Jordan Donovan. Just thinking about this class, this senior group, it's been a great group. They were all great leaders, and all of them, have played in the program for all 4 years. And when I think of this group, this was the first group that came in with me during COVID. I wouldn't touch them. I wouldn't say that to them. I stayed away from them. But jokingly, I think it's kind of true. They thought, man, does Coach Mormon ever take his mask off? It's kind of what they were always telling me. But this group right here is a group that really describes the game of football. There's adversity, there's perseverance, there's champions, there's leaders, and that's exactly what you have in this group of young men. You understand how to handle adversity, and it's going to pay off for them, as they continue to move on here from Northwest Cabarrus High School. The biggest thing I want you guys to know that, hey, as a staff, not only me as a staff, we appreciate every single one of you. Just like Mr. Willie said, you guys were the building blocks for this program. All right? That first year, it wasn't easy. That second year, still more adversity. The years 3 and 4, you guys sticking through, pushing through. It's much appreciated for don't stand up. The biggest thing I would say is, and I would say, I'm speaking on behalf of our staff, if there's anything that you ever need, if you ever need to reach out to us, we can help you at all. Always feel free to reach out to any of us. And so to the senior parents, thank you all for allowing them to be in the program. I tell you, you're raising some great young men. They do things right, in their community, in the classroom, and also on the football field. And I can ask for a better group of coach in terms of the senior class, kind of being that first one that started off in the program. So the biggest thing I want to do is say thank you to all of you. You're much appreciated. And hey, we wish you all the best, as you continue to go on. When I was hired here by Mr. Myers, I told him, I said, I want to see guys that can be successful on the football field. And I want to see guys that can be successful now, but hopefully, what all of your coaches have taught you can carry over in their life and be successful there. Understand that? But if there's anything that you ever need, always feel free to come back. You're much appreciated. Thank you. I think the words that Cassandra didn't put on this, and this wall, you all put on this program are really the best words to use here. I just want to make sure that we go over this one more time. It's a special thanks to all of our coaches, parents, sponsors, volunteers, everyone that was a part of the program. And Parkwood Baptist Church for always letting us have our banquets here. You've all helped our program, and you're definitely much appreciated. So thank you. I will say this to our senior parents. Again, thank you all for letting our guys be in our program. We appreciate you guys sticking to the program for all 4 years. And then our returning parents, we will have pretty much, we're in 2024 now. The guys are hard off at work. They're working extremely hard. We're going to continue to take it one day at a time. It's going to be some hard days. There's going to be some great ones. There's going to be some tough ones. But like I said, for this senior group, it's continue to, persevere, through those hard times, and it'll all pay off. But, I can tell you, we'll have a spring meet here coming up. All the young men will receive their calendars that kind of explain, hey, when we have our JED periods in the summer, when we start spring football, and there's so much more. That's pretty much 2024 is already here. It's been the third week of the school year. And, what the coaching staff is doing yet is that, hey, with us getting out of school so early, spring ball, skill development will start somewhere around like March 11th, 19th, it'll be on your schedule. Spring practice will be in April, end of April, leading up to May 8th. And summertime, we actually get started on June the 3rd. So we'll have 6 weeks of summer. So they will give you a little bit of time off. This is kind of our county. They decided to give the guys a little bit of time off once we get out of school. So there'll be a little bit of some vacation time, but we'll get started on June the 3rd. And so be looking out for those schedules. Typically, I get them out at the beginning of February, the first week of February. And there will be information that's going to continue to be added to it in terms of, our 7-on-7 schedule, and in the time frame for our spring practices. But, I guess really here, in closure, I just want to say thank you again. And, we look forward to seeing you all out at our games for the 2024 season. And go Trojans. Thank you.